Welcome in, everybody, to episode 3 of the New York Mets franchise here on MLB The Show 24, and today we get a look at the Mets against the New York Yankees in the Subway Series. It's a 2-game set. We are going to check out the second of those 2 games. It is Aaron Judge leading the team out there. Yankees won the first game of this set, and he's a big reason why. Matt Manning is taking the hill for the Yankees. They made a trade to bring him in. Jason Dominguez headed over to Detroit. Jeff McNeil leading off. He thinks he has a walk, but it is a strikeout, a called strike 3, and that's what you get for being in Yankee Stadium. There is our current lineup. Obviously, changes could be getting made at the trade deadline. We'll see what ends up happening. Nimmo right back to Matt Manning. And that would get through the top half of the first inning for New York. Sean Manaea taking the hill for, well, the other New York. 4-8, a 3.91 ERA. He could be a little bit of trade bait at the deadline. He's got another year on his contract. Gets a chopper over the third, and Brett Beatty able to get it and get Volpe out of there. There's the Yankee lineup. It's a crazy one, obviously, with Soto in there, Stanton. Soto could be a free agent at the end of the year if the Yankees can't extend him, which I don't know if they have the room in their budget to do so, as is Wald Peraza going down on the strikeout. Sean Manaea is first of the day. Here's Aaron Judge batting .300 on the season, and that's going to make it climb just a little bit more with a big hit into left field. Aaron Judge finds his way to first base for Juan Soto. Soto sits there looking at the slider down low. He goes down, and Manaea working his way through this Yankee lineup. Here's Big Meat Pete Alonso. He's looking for that contract extension, maybe a trade at the deadline. Who knows? He's safe at first, and if Alonso can beat you, must have been a terrible throw, and it was. Frankie Lindor, though, coming up, and the double play ball is turned. Bringing up Francisco Alvarez. He goes down swinging at the slider away. Matt Manning and Sean Manaea doing a nice job until the bottom of the second, and that's where Trent Grisham, the 9-hole hitter, gets the job done for the Yanks. They are up 1-0 on that double against the right field wall, and Anthony Volpe comes up later on, and he ropes this thing out into the stands. So the 9-hole hitter and the leadoff hitter getting it done for the Yankees. Volpe's 13th homer of the season. And that gives the Yankees a big 4-0 lead in the bottom of the second. And they are looking to sweep this 2-game Subway Series set. It looks like they have a good chance to do so as we just go ahead and manage it a little bit. Volpe hits another 2-run shot. Judge adding a 2-run shot. We're late in this game, and Ronnie Mauricio gets a hit up against second base, and he beats it out. Look at that. That will go ahead and chase Matt Manning from the game finally. Victor Gonzalez coming in. He's been very good as a relief pitcher for the Yanks this season, facing Tyrone Taylor, who grounds one over to third. Easy double play turn to get them through the 8th inning. And the Yankees end up with an easy 8-0 victory against our New York Mets. Aaron Judge, of course, helping to lead the charge, but it was Volpe with 2 big home runs in this game that really ate our Mets alive. After getting swept in the 2-game Subway Series, we move to the trade deadline, where we make some minor moves. Xavier Curry is 25 years old, and he's a righty who hasn't been getting it together in Cleveland. And with them firmly in a division race, they are interested in Sean Manaea. I'm also looking to get a young prospect out of this deal, and Jason Chourio, brother of Jackson Chourio, top prospect with the Milwaukee Brewers, is someone the Guardians are willing to add into this deal. He's only 18 years old and has a chance to grow with us, and I think that's solid value for Manaea, so we ship him right off. Next, there's Adam Ottavino, who has been just abysmal this year in our pen. He doesn't command much, but the Rays are willing to send us 21-year-old Trey Morgan, who is hitting pretty well in Double-A. That's enough for me to dump Ottavino off to a contender. Or Ryan Kerkering. Not only has a badass name, but he's 23 years old with some potential to be a long-term answer in our future pen. Crazy velocity and break, but he's got to work on those walks. However, to get him for Tomas Nido, who can barely hit my sister's weight, I'm gonna take that every day. Harrison Bader has been far less than stellar for us, and we're gonna get value before it's too late. 18-year-old Alex Clemmy does that for us. He has the potential to be a starter in the future, and the Guardians have now added 2 pieces for their run from us. Jose Quintana is 35, and he's coming off of an all-star appearance this season, where his value will never see a higher point. Tekoa Roby gives us a starter to build on, even if he isn't particularly special at anything. And Victor Scott is a very speedy defender in center field who could grow into a decent enough hitter and is in fact hitting 270 in 18 games for MLB St. Louis Cardinals. Sounds like a deal to me. The Orioles want that ring and they trade Corbin Burns and Gunnar Henderson for Mike Trout. Blockbuster. The elephant in the room. Pete Alonso. He could obviously bring back plenty of top prospects if we really wanted to do that, but he does happen to be hitting really well with his best average of his career, even if it appears he's not going to get to 40 plus bombs, but we're going to look to see if he'll give us the hometown discount that we're looking for, and it appears that he would be willing to do that. 3 years at $13.7 million per year is wonderful, and he signs that contract immediately. So Mets fans that were killing me in the intro episode, be happy. We keep the polar bear. Also, be happy about this. Our 19th overall pick, Billy Foster, is a 72 overall with 86 potential. That is going to be huge for our outfield future. He really looks like he could be an all-around outfielder over the next few years. Our 2nd round pick, Kevin Durbin, he's good too. 61 overall with 86 potential is very welcome, but he's got quite a bit of development to do in the minors first. Andy Velasquez was a 50-yard fake out though. Our scouts were wrong on this one. 56 overall with 73 potential just ain't gonna cut it. They got it wrong with Vargas too. 46 overall with 69 potential is like saying I shouldn't have even signed him, and he's the one who took the longest to sign. Julio Garcia works even if he has a long way to go and he's 21 years old. The saving grace is that 96 durability, which means that he shouldn't be getting hurt and missing opportunities to develop being on the injured list. Daryl Kang, I'm disappointed because he looked better than this. Basically this draft was 2 players and 1 really developmental one. Everyone else is a career minor leaguer here. As for some others, Damon McConnell is going to be really good for Washington in the future, but he needs to develop a little bit more of a bat. Rosales is an ouch of a 2nd overall pick for Cincinnati. Jim Landis is solid enough for Pittsburgh. Ruben Howell will be very good for Colorado, even if he's not going to strike out many hitters. Jason Arizari could absolutely start very soon for the White Sox and their rebuilding club. Nate Harder sure seems like a solid number 1 overall selection for the Guardians. They lucked into this pick and they lucked into a great player. The Royals likely have an instant starter in Rob Mills. He looks great. Keith Grantham could develop as well as a solid catcher at the plate for the Angels. DeAndre Hay doesn't really impress me for a 4th overall pick, but Oakland did get a steal later on with Michael Seo, who happens to be my first regret of this series. We should have selected him over Durbin, but Durbin is fine in his own right. Time will tell who is the better prospect. Back into some more games we go as the Mets take on the Los Angeles Angels, the team that just traded away Mike Trout for this man, Corbin Burns, as well as Gunnar Henderson. We'll check out Corbin Burns, who's having a terrific season. I don't know why the O's wanted to give him up, but I mean, if you're getting Mike Trout, it works, right? Starling Marte with a base hit up the middle. That is going to put 2 on, nobody out in the top of the 1st inning for Brandon Nimmo, who chops one down the first baseline. Easy double play ball. Barely converted, but it is converted for the double play. The 3-6-3 works out, and Pete Alonso comes up at the plate trying to get that base hit, but he will not bring home the run. So they get out of a huge jam, Corbin Burns does, Kodai Senga will take the hill for us. 8-9 this season with a 4.03 ERA and a 1.43 whip. He's kind of gone downhill just a little bit, but we'll see if we can bring him back. Logan O'Hoppe with the strikeout looking to end the first inning. Tyrone Taylor comes up, and that's an easy ground ball for an easy double play. That will get the Angels through the top half of the second. Matt Ace comes up and absolutely creams one out to left field. Nimmo giving chase, but he is not going to be able to bring this thing back into the ballpark. Ace able to hit his 4th home run of the season, and that will give the Angels the 1-0 lead. And in what could be a pitcher's duel, that could be a huge home run. We'll have to see if we can get one off of Corbin Burnes somewhere in this game. Aaron Hicks comes up and he takes the strikeout looking fastball up high. It was a little high, but it'll be the 3rd strikeout for Senga. Kyron Paris comes up, ground ball over to Frankie Lindor, easy throw on to first. That gets through the 2nd inning, but not before the Angels take the lead. Logan O'Hoppe sitting there looking at a fork ball. That ends the 3rd inning that way. Pete Alonso coming up to the plate, gets a base hit over to shortstop. They're going to try to throw him out, but he's a little bit faster than they think as he makes it to first base. Francisco Alvarez dribbling one onto shortstop. That's an easy throw to get him out and get through the top half of the first. We go to the bottom half. Matt Ace, he hit a homer last time, but this time swinging through the Senga cutter for his 5th strikeout of the game. Aaron Hicks up at the plate. He swings and misses. He is not having a good day at the plate, and that bad day continues. 6th strikeout for Senga. Here's a swing and a miss as well as Senga gets 7 strikeouts through the 4th inning. He is pitching lights out other than that homer he gave up. Brett Beatty with a chopper down to first. Look at that backwards flip to the pitcher Corbin Burnes for the step on the bag. Brings up Jeff McNeil, trying to bring that runner home from 3rd here in the top of the 5th, and this one's all the way to the wall, warning track, whatever you want to say, it is caught anyways. Jake Marisnick just going to sit there and look at the slider. He didn't believe that thing hit the corner, but it does for Senga's 8th strikeout of the game. Gunnar Henderson now sits there and window shops as well for a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that just hit the zone. That is absolutely a strikeout. There's Logan O'Hoppe, and he just sits there looking at it as well. 10 Ks for Senga. And this is a big hit by Hunter Dozier going back to left field. Nimmo's underneath and makes the grab to end the 6th inning. 10 Ks for Senga through 6. These are masterful pitching performances as Ronnie Mauricio just grounds one over, and that's easy at first base to make that play. Jorge Lopez now coming in, as that is going to be it for Senga. 4-0 with a 3.22 ERA. He's been really good out of the pen. We'll see if he continues. Aaron Hicks going to dribble one over to short. He's trying to beat it out, and he does, according to the umpire. We don't agree, but he does beat it out. There's McNeil with a nice glove. He's going to get the out at 2nd, but they cannot turn 2 on Marisnick. Here's Zach Nato. He's up there and hits one. Look at Lindor flashing the leather and getting the out to get through 7. I'll bring up Tyrone Taylor, who goes down swinging at the slider away. For the first, that's right, you're seeing it right, the first Corbin Burnes strikeout of the day. Here's Jeff McNeil, and he's going to reach base on an error, and that is going to bring in Andrew Watts. So Corbin Burnes getting through his day with only 1 strikeout, but just not allowing a ton of things. Here's Starling Marte hitting it out to right field. That one is not going to drop. What a catch out there in right. Gunnar Henderson now chopping one over to Beatty. They're going to try to turn 2. McNeil to Alonso. It's done. Logan O'Hoppe comes up and swings and misses this time. He got tired of window shopping. That gets us through the 8th, and the Angels are looking to slam the door with Robert Stevenson, who's had a decent year. He's 2-0 with a 3.09 ERA. Here's Brandon Nimmo, and he hits this thing into center field and into the glove. Out there in center, I don't know who their new center field starter is, to be honest with you. Pete Alonso also hitting it out there to center field, and that's just an easy fly ball to make for out number 2. It is down to Frankie Lindor. Lindor's going to draw a walk. So 0 for 3 on the day, but he will hit first base, and Alvarez swinging wild at that slider outside, and that is going to get the job done for the Angels. They win this one 1-0 behind Corbin Burnes. He gets a win to go 12-4. Senga taking that loss, 8-10, looking like Jacob deGrom. We're going to go check out a game here in Colorado. Bottom 8 bases loaded. Thompson just sitting there window shopping. You can't do that with bases bombed. So Jorge Lopez gets out of it, and that'll bring Justin Lawrence in. He's 20 of 23 on save opportunities. Bringing in their closer, and they don't have a lead. Here's Alvarez getting a hit off of the shortstop's glove. Little reach on an error, I guess. Here's Ronnie Mauricio absolutely slamming one out to center field. This thing is crushed. Ronnie Mauricio is a guy we really love to see that from because he's one of our young up-and-coming players. When McNeil is gone, it's Mauricio's job at second base, and that is his 7th bomb of the season. We're growing these young men just the way they need to be grown, hopefully. 5-3, Mets take the lead in the top of the 9th. So moving later in the game, obviously Edwin Diaz is going to be called upon to come in and close it. 32 of 36 on his save opportunities with a 2.50 ERA, and he is tied for 4th in the NL in saves. Ezequiel Tovar comes up over to Lindor. Lindor, nice flash on the leather, good throw. He's gone. Charlie Blackmon here facing this top of this order, and Alonso makes a nice play defensively over at first. That brings up Nolan Jones. Broken bat, Beatty charging, barehanding, throwing to first, and gets him for the Mets victory. Wow, Ronnie Mauricio, the hero today. Jorge Lopez ends up with a win. He's 5-1 on the year, and Edwin Diaz picking up his 33rd save of the season. Brett Beatty tore his ACL, and he is done for the year. Luke Voigt will miss 1 to 2 months with a fractured arm, so that's basically the rest of the season. And newly extended Pete Alonso tears his calf to miss the rest of the season as well. So the lineup's going to look a little weird going into these later portion of the season games, as Omar Narvaez is at the dish in the bottom of the 6th against the Orioles. The bases bombed, and he just can't come up with a big hit. So he goes down. That'll end the 6th inning, and Julio Teheran is raising the roof for, well, not his home crowd, that's for sure. Joey Wendell now gets a chance in the 9th, and he is swinging at absolute garbage and hoping that he can bloop it, but he cannot, as the Orioles win that ball game against our New York Mets at Citi Field. They take a 1-0 series lead in that series. Teheran gets the win. Senga again getting the loss and no run support. Like I said, a bit of Jacob deGrom out there. It seems like the makeshift lineup will have a tough time, and even more so with Starling Marte breaking his forearm and being done for the rest of the season. In order to replace all of these starters, we cut guys like Yaxel Rios and Matt Rudick, who are career minor leaguers, in order to bring in some major league talent like Michael A. Taylor, Evan Longoria, and Jonathan Scope, who are likely just this year's stopgaps to hold us through the playoff race. It's not the greatest news, as August is coming to a close. The Arizona Diamondbacks and a newly acquired Luis Robert Jr. getting a base hit past Frankie Lindor. That is going to bring home a runner unless Nimmo can make a brilliant throw, and no, he's not that good. Jock Peterson gets one directly down the left field line, and that is going to give the Diamondbacks a win as Corbin Carroll comes rolling home for Arizona. They get a win at home 6-5. Joe Mansupply getting the win. Edwin Diaz gets the loss as he blows that save big time. Are we going to become the Lowell Mets this season? Let's see what happens. Michael A. Taylor up at the plate, newly acquired. Garrett Crochet going to get him on the double play, but we still have a chance with a runner at third for Evan Longoria. He has not gotten a hit yet in the Mets uniform, and he still will not get a hit in the Mets uniform as the White Sox end up getting the victory. We're letting teams like the White Sox beat us, a Louis Robert-less White Sox team, as Garrett Crochet picks up his 21st save of the season for Chicago. Now we get another chance as we are home against the Boston Red Sox. Jeff McNeil up at the dish, and he hits this one up the middle. What a play. They start a double play, but they cannot complete it. Kenley Jansen on the mound against Ronnie Mauricio, and Mauricio does it again. He has been our #1 hero of the season, getting a huge double right there, trying to score as McNeil, and he will. It's 6-6. So Mauricio fired up. He's trying to fire that bench up. Here's Brandon Nimmo trying to get the completed walk-off win, but he just cannot do it. So easy fly ball. We're going to return to simulating, and that could be a little bit of a mistake as the Boston Red Sox end up getting the win. There's Marcelo Mayer. I know he's not in the base rosters, but we put him in there. Kenley Jansen wins it. He's 7-1 on the season. Austin Adams takes the loss, and Justin Slayton taking the save. Things are getting ugly down the stretch, but the Rumble Ponies lead their division by 13 games with just 6 to play, so they've already clinched, and the Syracuse Mets have 12 games left on their season, and they lead their division by 10 games, so that's all but wrapped up as well. They lose the first 2 before winning 2 games straight to end up taking the division, so now that the minor league affiliates will both be playoff bound, we're going to concentrate on this major league club. The Mets are 3 games up on the Padres for the final wildcard spot. Can our fill-in roster get us there? And we're going to get a chance to get a win against the Washington Nationals, but it's going to take potentially a grand salami from Evan Longoria, and that is anything but a grand salami. So the Nationals get an easy win in our building, and this is just not what we want to see. 3-1 losing to Washington. Again, it's Senga not getting any run support. He's 12-13 on the season. Here's Brady House, another Washington National game in this series. Brady House goes down swinging at the hand of Austin Adams in a 4-4 tie in the top of the 10th. Ildemaro Vargas over to McNeil. McNeil making the throw to first, and it is good. And the Mets will end up getting a win on an Omar Narvaez 2-run shot. Interestingly enough, Narvaez is the hero of the game, even though Frankie Lindor went 4 for 5 and McNeil went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Now we're going to take a look at Citi Field. The Mets taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, the division leaders. And Luis Severino making his first start in a little while. He's only started 20 games this year. 9-5 record, 3.96 ERA. He was pitching quite well before he had to go on the injured list, and this is the lineup he's going to be facing. The Phillies haven't made any crazy moves. They're kind of keeping it the way it should be. Bryce Harper, Schwarber, and Castellanos, along with Real Muto, obviously the heart of this order. Bryce Harper in the first over to McNeil, and he will easily be thrown out at first to get through the top half. So, impressive first inning. That'll bring in Ranger Suarez, who is the pitcher for the Phillies. He's had a great season. 15-6 with a 3.28 ERA is incredible for him. And we'll see what he can do against our Mets lineup soon, as Severino in the top of the 4th inning getting Whit Merrifield to swing and miss for his second strikeout of the game. Hasn't struck out a ton of hitters, but he has been pitching steady until Bryce Harper gets this one to land in right field, and he is going to try to leg out the double, and he will get there. So with Bryce Harper on second, it's Kyle Schwarber and McNeil in foul territory to make the easy grab and prevent any threat from coming across the plate. Here's Frankie Lindor now as Suarez on the hill still, and Lindor is caught there, but we get an advancement over to third base, so we've got a runner right there 90 feet away. It's Evan Longoria up at the plate. He laces one out to left field, and this one is caught. Every time Longoria seems like he's going to get a hit, he absolutely does not. We move to the top of the 6th. Severino still on the hill. He gets Johan Rojas to just sit there and window shop. Window shop, window shop. 5th strikeout for Severino. He's got Marsh up at the plate, and Scope playing second base for us today gets the throw on to first and gets us to the bottom of the 6th inning, where Jeff McNeil has a chance to maybe bring someone in, but he's busy swinging and missing like a silly goose. 3rd strikeout for Suarez. Here's Nimmo, and he swings and misses as well. That curveball is nasty. 4 Ks for Suarez. Here's Lindor at the dish, and he is going to hit this one over to short. And a little mess up there is going to make him reach on an error, which is crazy. So Longoria gets another chance. He gets beanballed. That is going to put the bases loaded for Michael A. Taylor, who ropes one into left field, and that's going all the way up against the wall. Michael A. Taylor not only gets 1, but 2 ribbies. So look at that. Newly acquired Michael A. Taylor with a 2-run double. It's the little things that count. Bryce Harper up at the dish, and Luis Severino gets him swinging. What a pitch. He's still in this game. 6 strikeouts, trying to get through 7 innings. Here's Kyle Schwarber. He swings and misses at the circle change just outside. So, impressive performance for Severino. Brooks Raley coming in after Severino would give up a walk. Raley has not had a great year. Alec Boehm up at the plate, and this one is between right field and center field. Thompson moves over to make the catch. And now it is time. Edwin Diaz. He has been masterful this season. We've rarely seen him blow saves. We have seen it. He will face Brandon Marsh to start off in this 9th inning as Diaz makes his way to the hill. 42 of 47 on his save opportunities, 2.21 ERA. Lefties have not done well against him, and Marsh will not do well here as Longoria ranging over into foul territory to make the grab. Bryce Harper now at the plate, and that is just a silly swing. He goes down swinging, so Diaz gets the first 2, no problem. Schwarber hits against the shift and gets himself a base hit. So Schwarber will be on first for Nick Castellanos, who swings silly as well. That is the one thing. These Phillies can hit the ball out of the park, but you can get them to swing at some silly stuff. As Edwin Diaz picks up his 43rd save, Luis Severino gets his 10th win of the season. Exhilarating win for the Mets in the first Severino start in a while, and the AAA Mets finish 91-59, winning their division. They will play the Columbus Clippers. Rumble Ponies finish 79-59, winning their division, and they will play the Fightin' Phils. 5 games left for the big lead Mets, but first, let's look at the end of the season stats for the minor leaguers. Victor Scott hit .265 with 2 homers, .285 and 17 bombs for Drew Gilbert. That's a great season for him. Camacho Rollins was a bit disappointing in his shorter AAA stint, hitting just .182. Taylor Coley was fine. Rylan Bannon was actually an all-star, hitting .262 with 20 bombs. Jeremiah Jackson was good. Kevin Parada disappointed when he moved up to AAA, not even hitting his weight. Colin Hawk was an all-star as well and hit .272 with 9 homers. Carlos Cortez and Zach Short were fine, but Hayden Sanger wasn't great off of our bench. Luke Ritter was good in limited action. Jason Churio was not good in his 115 ABs. We're going to need more from him after that trade. Rowdy Jordan was surprisingly really good, hitting .276. As for the pitchers, Marceau was really solid. Vasil was really good. Lucchesi was very good. McGill was good, and Clemmy, who I wanted to do the best, was actually the worst of the starting 5. In the pen, only Allen was really bad. Russ Wilson wasn't really great, but he only had 18 innings at AAA after moving up. For the Rumble Ponies, Jet Williams hit .264 with 7 long balls. That's merely okay for a top prospect in my opinion. Ryan Clifford hit .294 with 15 long balls, better than I thought he would for a guy who can't hit lefties. Vientos was fantastic, .284, 21 homers. Kellum Clark hit 10 bombs but mediocre average. Rylan Thomas and Jacob Reamer were fine enough, while Matt O'Neill was just not great. Nick Morabito would have been cool to see more from, and DeAndre Smith was average at best. Off the bench, McIlwain provided something at least, and I'm happy to see Trey Morgan hitting .287 with 6 homers. That's kind of what we want from him when we made that move. The rotation was fine, Sproat was good enough, Moreno and Walker were good, while Troy Miller was actually wonderful. Takoa Roby was solid after coming over from St. Louis, and in the pen you'll see everybody outside of Jordan Gieber was good to great, and I don't even know who Jordan Gieber is, so I guess that's fine. 4 games left in the season, and the Mets are 82-76, out of the division race and a game back of the Cubs in the wild card. And the Mets get a win over the rival Braves to improve their chances. Find out next time.